Happy Saturday, folks. Where do I even start with this, man? Holy cow. Okay, so here's the thing. My low and my high, and I guess my act of kindness, if I want to be technical about it, are all interconnected. Actually, you know, I'll talk about this while I get my boots on, which is interesting because this will technically bring up another topic that I want to talk about. So, all this week, my plan was to go to my very first Horseheads Softball Game. Because I have a friend whose daughter plays on the varsity team. And originally they were going to have their first home game on Thursday. They had an away game on Wednesday, home game on Thursday. And on Friday, I was going to go to the grand opening of Salon, Spa, and the Suite Experience. Well, we actually got a lot of rain on Wednesday. Actually, it's raining right now. And because of that, Wednesday's away game got postponed to Thursday. The Thursday softball game got postponed to Friday. So, needless to say, I had to do a lot of work. And I had to not be at both places I wanted to be at for very long. But I was still able to do it. So I would say that my low was easily just the fact I had to play around the schedule a lot yesterday. But my high is, you know, I literally crossed off 2 items off of my 2025 bucket list. You know, I can't really complain about that. I mean, the only thing that constitutes a low is I wasn't really able to, you know, be at both places for as long as I really would have been able to. Had I spent, dedicated one evening. These are definitely, the softball game and a grand opening of an event are, 2 things that definitely need, their own night dedicated to them. If you're going to go, that should be, the backbone, the foundation of whatever your night's going to be. So, this is definitely another obstacle for me in terms of, you know, what do I sacrifice? What am I going to worry about missing? And am I going to be able to, fully enjoy it? Well, I did fully enjoy myself. That's why I just said it was my high. So, foremost, to the good, I want to say folks, but I'm pretty sure the vast majority of everyone who works at Salon and the Suite Experiences were ladies. Which actually reminds me, so the outfit I wore in yesterday's video, kind of similar to this, but imagine a little more white than blue. Now, yeah, I got my nice boots on, decent pair of jeans, nice shirt, I wore my nice jacket, dressed pretty nice, right? And then I see all these women who work at Salon, the Suite Experience, and, oh, by the way, I would say my act of kindness was supporting the grand opening and supporting the Horseheads Softball team, which they won, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I get to Salon and the Suite Experience, and all the women who worked there, and it was very clear that they coordinated this, were wearing really nice black dresses. Now, in hindsight, I know that, again, they clearly coordinated this, that they would have had to have. But in the moment, I really was worried of am I actually underdressed for this? I mean, there are people who also had, jeans on. There was one kid that wore one couple that brought a little kid who was wearing a Minecraft t-shirt. Most likely in support of the movie that just released in theaters. And while I got a little more comfortable about it, I'm like, I still think I may be a little underdressed. And then I see this one guy. This one guy, I don't know who he is. I doubt he'd be watching this right now, but you, sir, are a true hero. He shows up in khaki shorts and a green hoodie. Now, say for the sake of argument that I actually was underdressed, and someone told me I was underdressed, and I'd be uncomfortable, I had to leave. If that's the case, then that guy clearly had to have been. My point is, I was fine. But it's that sort of thing where, also in hindsight, again, I'm like a tall, straight white guy. What kind of business do I have being at the grand opening of Salon, Well, for starters, there were some people I saw there who I hadn't seen in a while, so I got to see them. That was nice. And not to mention, the grand opening of any store, that is a huge accomplishment. I'm blanking on the name of the lady who owns K-Ray Salon and the other lady who owns the Sweet Experience. I'm blanking on the names at the moment. But opening up your own establishment, that's a huge accomplishment. Already that's awesome. But also, as I just alluded to a second ago, this place is women, not only is it local, it's women, locally owned, it's women owned. I find it kind of ridiculous. I might actually need to emphasize why an entire community coming out to support a locally owned, women-owned establishment is a big deal. But, it's just awesome. It's honestly a moment in 2025 that, is definitely going to go down as one of the better moments of this year. Definitely for the city of Corning, for sure. And that's the thing. In the past, I've kind of, I wouldn't say made fun of, but thought a little bit less of the city of Corning compared to the fact I live in Elmira and, I go to Horseheads a lot and stuff like that. Corning really does have a lot of great places. It does. I just don't really find myself going there because, admittedly some personal demons of mine, but also, I've got illegal tap house a half mile away from here. Also, Patrick's, which is also a half mile, and Round and Third. Bernie Murray's is down the street from me. If I want to go all the way to Southport, I got Champions. That's just what's in my general area at the moment. And Manzari's is down there. I don't know if you heard that, but that was thunder I just heard. Okay. Definitely I'm gonna wear my jacket today when I leave. Where was I? Right. Right, I was talking about places Libs is literally a half mile away from me. If Moretti's was still open, that's also a half mile away from there are so many good places right around me at the moment. Vincenzo's, another place. There's a Pudgy's right down the street from me. Do I really need to worry? Just having these places and actually seeing people at those places are two different things, to be sure. But if that's something to worry about in this area, it'd also be equally as worrisome in Corning. Not to mention, and I've said this before, parking on Market Street in Corning, it is a pain in the rear end. It is. I actually got lucky when I went to the opening of K-Ray Salon and the Sweet Experience in terms of finding a parking space. I think I was probably maybe a quarter to half a block away, which isn't far, but I got lucky, like really lucky. So yeah, overall the experiences, I mean, if there really was one nitpick I have about the grand opening, really has nothing to do with, the people who own it or anything like that. It's just, obviously at this event, they were having food catered, people walking around in trays of food, like hors d'oeuvres, stuff like that. And I really couldn't have any of it because yesterday was Friday. And I can't have meat on Fridays during Lent. The one thing that they did have that I was able to eat were these delicious little crab cakes, which were very good crab cakes. I think it might have been Quincy on Market Street that catered, or Wegmans maybe, I don't know. So I off the top of my head, I don't know who catered, but whoever they were, they did mean the crab cakes were good. I can say that, but there really wasn't much I could do. Now, I mentioned, like, the softball game had to be moved to yesterday also, and that actually, like, the grand opening for K-Ray Salon technically was like at 5:30, which is weird. I thought it was originally going to be at 4:30, but okay. And the softball game actually started at 5, meaning I actually had to cut my time at K-Ray Salon and the Sweet Experience short just to make it to the softball game in time. And I will tell you right now, I really cut it close. Like, I was just barely there in time to see my friend's daughter, who I mentioned earlier, like, go up to bat. She did really good. She got a hit. I mean, the outfielder caught it, but she's good. And okay, I don't want to give away necessarily who it is, but like this person, the mother of this girl I've known since first grade, and she posts a lot about how her daughter's like really good at softball, right? So I actually made the prediction that, because she's a freshman in high school right now, and she's on the varsity softball team, I made that prediction. Here's the thing though. She makes JV her 8th grade year. And that was when I predicted she made varsity as a freshman. When sectionals were around, they bumped her up to varsity. She legit outdid my prediction. I mean, technically I did get the prediction right, but still, like, I'm just saying this as Horseheads wound up beating Vesta last night 4-2, and from what I heard, it was a really hard-fought game. But I'm just going to call it right here. Horseheads Softball, they're going to win 3 of the next 4 Section 4 titles. I really think, like, I'm lowballing that number too. Like, I can totally see them doing what they did last year, making it to the Section 4 title game, and then falling short like they did last year. But here's the thing, this is a young team. Like, a young team. Like, I think they only have, like, 2 seniors maybe on that team? I don't know. But they're young. And they already played a really hard-fought game. Like, for all intents and purposes, you could consider them young last year, and they lost in the sectional title game. So, 3 of the next 4 section titles, not remotely out of the realm of possibility. In fact, I mentioned my friend's daughter. She's a freshman now. I can totally see them winning 4 years in a row. But again, it's just a prediction. I could totally be wrong. But yeah, that's just what it is. Now, I really couldn't end this video without talking about the thing I've been waiting for years. But as many of you know, I have been watching Chuggaaconroy since August of 2009. Easily the longest I've seen anyone on the internet, period. It wasn't until, I would say, he started doing Xenoblade Chronicles. give or take. Where the first one, because here's the thing, like obviously Chuggaaconroy has a lot of fans, and there are so many people that want to do like this game or like that game or whatever. It wasn't until Xenoblade Chronicles, which would have been like 2014, 2015 roughly, I think, that I thought, actually, hold on. I'm going to look this up real quick. Okay, Chuggaaconroy, Xenoblade, Chronicles, okay. Okay, did that from, hold on. Okay, so literally June of 2014, well, okay, the main crux of the game was from June of 2014 to February of 2015. So then to do the post-game stuff, he took a little break, April 7th, 2015 to June 3rd. He basically worked on this for almost a year. And in that year, that's when I started thinking, what game do I want Chuggaaconroy to do? I mean, some games I knew he was going to do right off the bat because I knew he would do Emerald, I knew he would do Platinum, I knew, like, because I'm a Pokemon fan. I know he would do, Black and White and Black 2 and White 2. I knew he would do the Pokemon games. I had a suspicion he would do, the Mario Galaxy games. Like, honestly, there really hasn't been a game that Chuggaaconroy's done, up to this point that is, where I didn't half expect it to happen. If that makes sense. Like, I knew he was going to get to it at some point. But the one game I actually wound up wanting to do more than anything else was Legends of Zelda Twilight Princess. And last night, after the better half of a decade, I got the game I wanted to see him do. Starting tonight, Chuggaaconroy will be doing a Let's Play of Legends of Zelda Twilight Princess. Now, I've talked in the past as to why I wanted him to do this, but I could share again. I mean, for starters, he's done, he did Wind Waker, Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword, Phantom Hourglass, Link's Awakening. So he's done his fair share of Zelda games. But I need to take you guys back a ways, because when the N64 first came out, you could argue that the greatest game of the N64 was Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, followed by a worthy successor in Majora's Mask. After that, the people behind the Zelda games decided to go something more lighthearted in terms of character design and gameplay, and you got Wind Waker, which, fantastic game, I'm not going to argue with that. But even for like the most serious moments that Wind Waker provided, especially in the climax, like, you needed that sort of foreboding, dark, intimidating factor that you would get in some of the more, again, I dare say even fear-inducing stuff that Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time provided. So, when they made Legends of Zelda Twilight Princess, I mean, for starters, they brought Link back to being, okay, well, technically he's, I would guess, 15, 16 years old in Twilight Princess, but they made him older. Like, for starters, his voice is definitely, like, he's not a kid anymore. He's like, he's easily gone through puberty, but, clean shaven. And the darkest, like, the atmosphere, like, oh my God. They really hammered in the atmosphere in Twilight Princess. Like, here's the thing. And Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, does a great job of explaining this from time to time. you know when you watch like a scary movie or a horror movie, and you're done watching it, but after like a long time, you wonder like why it was so scary when the actual thing we're supposed to be afraid of, in hindsight, not that scary at all, especially when you clearly know it's a movie and therefore it's fictional and not real. It's not what you see that scares you. It's what you don't see that really scares you. And there are a lot of moments in Twilight Princess that really do bring that atmosphere, that sort of foreboding, that sort of like, if you're like comfortable sitting down, but then you get that chill and you're like, oh, okay. So this is really happening. And that's not to say that Twilight Princess doesn't have any lighthearted moments either. It doesn't. But honestly, after Wind Waker, Twilight Princess was that sort of like, we're going to pawn our bootstraps and we're going to make this, darker, but we're not going to completely take away what makes Link the hero of time, or in this case, the hero of Twilight, the hero that we all know. Because, and I said this a while, and I know I've said this before, the one thing about Link that you need to understand about him is he doesn't really say much. In fact, he's one of the most quiet protagonists in all of fiction. I mean, even in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, that actually has good voice acting in it, Link doesn't say anything. It's usually like, and that's actually a really great, and that's something that the N64 games and Wind Waker tried to really, did a decent job at, given the technology at the time. But it was Twilight Princess that really did the best job at that point of having Link speak without speaking. Like, the way he looks at things, the way he can be shocked by anything, or the way that, he can look at something and be content with that. Like, it's definitely a show not tell. And I really think Twilight Princess doesn't get enough credit for that. For being like, I would think the game that at the time really was the best at it. I mean, again, you got that in Wind Waker and Majora's Mask and, Ocarina of Time. But especially with the N64 games, there's limitations involved. I mean, as great of games as Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are, you're working with hardware that, while it was cutting edge at the time, is a little bit outdated now. I mean, it still holds up, thankfully. But if you were to say what looks better from an objective standpoint, in terms of how Link himself makes facial expressions, you'd gravitate more towards what Twilight Princess did. And a little bit of what Wind Waker did too. Honestly though, if you really want like the best of both worlds in terms of color and gameplay, and then, atmosphere and character design, like Skyward Sword I think was the one that did it best, because I think it quite literally combined Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and then you got Skyward Sword. Which is actually another Zelda game I think is underrated. But yeah. And I also couldn't really talk about this without Chuggaaconroy's video, like revealing it's gonna be Twilight Princess. And because as we all know, Legend of Zelda has items that, Link uses to get through the game, like the hook shot, bow and arrow, boots, boomerang, whatever have you. And Chuggaaconroy uses the items like he would use them in real life. Which, for starters, totally a Chuggaaconroy move. I love that he made it funny and interesting, but I can't say I wouldn't have done the same thing for some of those things either. So, Chuggaaconroy, I mean, I know I'm not the only one who's ever wanted Chuggaaconroy to do Twilight Princess. I'm certain I'm not. But as someone who's wanted to do who's wanted Chuggaaconroy to do Twilight Princess for the better half of a decade. Chuggaaconroy, I doubt you're watching this, but if you are, thank you. Like, you're for like this is like if this like this is an Easter gift for me. Like, I'll say this is an Easter gift for me. Like, he made it for me and those who also want a Twilight Princess. But again, Chuggaaconroy, thank you. I can't wait to watch it tonight or whenever I get the opportunity to do it. You better believe that between Chuggaaconroy's Twilight Princess announcement, the softball game we went to yesterday, and the opening of a locally owned, women-owned salon and the Sweet Experience, Carrie Salon and Spa and Sweet Experience. Yesterday was freaking awesome. I hope you like this video. Like, share the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I'm your home next video for all you guys watching your video. Please have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And remember that if you guys want to talk to me, I'm always going to be here to lend you always your back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.